The Queensland Government invests in science, technologies, engineering and mathematics through the Advancing STEM initiative. This enables primary schools to access the expertise they need from other schools, universities or industry partners to implement their school improvement plan. Each school's context is unique and brings different challenges and opportunities. This snapshot of practice shares how a primary school developed a sustainable model of building teacher capability, increasing student engagement and strengthening the implementation of the Australian curriculum digital technologies. The key to their success? Building a culture that values STEM learning and community and industry partnerships to ensure every student is succeeding.
So in 2019 we took on a scan and assess to begin building our strategic plan for the next 4 years, and we were comfortable and confident with our success in A to E data. We were comfortable and confident in our success in our NAPLAN data. What our concern was we had that question, were we preparing kids for the future workforce, and were our kids ready for a job that doesn't exist yet? What we really needed was the kids to have an opportunity to creatively think and to innovate and to design things for themselves and solve their own problems, and a one-size-fits-all approach was not going to get there for that. What we decided to do was we wanted to enhance our teaching in maths and science and HASS and English by using digital technologies and by integrating digital technologies into those units of work to build student engagement, to give kids opportunities to show their learning in their way. And the more different ways the kids could show their learning, the better chance they were going to be able to achieve. So from this, our mission was to engage our parents, that was our community, engage our industry, engage our teachers, and most importantly, engage our students. So our 4-year strategic plan we titled Preparing Students for an Ever-Changing World. And what that means to us is preparing our kids for whatever comes their way in the future workforce or in their future career. So then that leads to us, needing to change the way that we do business to actually do what we mean and actually provide kids with opportunities to do things differently. We know that what we're doing is working because we're seeing confidence growth in our teachers. We survey the teachers and they are much more keen to get involved and try new things. We're really lucky to have a number of early adopters that come on board and try things very quickly, and then that's been bringing along the others that are a bit more hesitant, and it's been a really nice journey. We use digital technologies to engage our learners in English, in maths, in HASS and science, and it's been able to make our learning way more engaging. So rather than teaching digital technologies by itself, we found a much more effective way was to embed it across other subjects.
So in science we had like this box, and so we used mirrors and lights and we coded the Ozobot to go through the box, and then we held a torch at the entry of the box, and then it reflected through the mirrors and it had to go out, and then we made the Ozobot, so we coded the Ozobot to go through it, and then there was a little blockage at the end of the Ozobot and it had to knock it over so then it could keep going.
Here at Moranbah State School, we work really hard to look at our collegial teams, and my role within that is being facilitator. I think our biggest curriculum leaders in our school are our teachers. They're the ones on the ground working with the students every day. So my role is not to sit in an office and produce all these documents. So we, really highly regard the process of teachers mapping and teachers unpacking the curriculum alongside of myself and Rebecca, our digital technologies STEM support teacher. At Moranbah State School, we really value the local and contextualised learning, and in order for us to do this, we seek out our local partnerships, including our mines, and they play a very valuable role in that. Not just within us being able to visit the mines, but actually being able to make sure that it's hitting our learning outcomes, and that's my role, is to identify what those learning outcomes are and work with those partners to ensure that we're getting that.
So my role as the STEM support teacher is to work alongside teachers to help them implement technology effectively in their classrooms. So on planning days, I work alongside teachers to identify and develop a modelled response for tasks, and also ensure that their marking guides are developed. So then the teachers are they know exactly what they're about to teach in their technology unit. Also, that's a time for them to identify any resources they need, so any robots or any other digital technology tools, and that's where I can come in and source them or teach them how to use. I'm also used as a resource to go into classrooms and model our tools. So if teachers aren't very comfortable in using it themselves, I can definitely come in and model those tools and show them how they work. And I'm definitely seeing that teachers are becoming more comfortable with using that in classrooms once they've had someone show them using it in an actual classroom context. So I'm finding now that because teachers are more comfortable with using technology in their classrooms, that the iPads and robots are being used intentionally to support students' learning. I think the assessment tasks are definitely more open now, so we are able to identify students' learning styles, and not every assessment task looks the same in a classroom. So one might be on an iPad, one might be doing a different way. So we're still hitting those achievement standards, but it's more individualised to the student. A big part of increased teacher confidence has been the way we create a learning culture. I may be the STEM support teacher, but I work with teachers to co-plan and co-teach. This builds the capability of all our teachers to know the content and to have the confidence to teach it, even when the technology doesn't go to plan. Our model of co-teaching and co-planning has been the key to ensuring sustainable outcomes. So if my role stopped tomorrow, I think our teachers would feel comfortable to implement STEM themselves.
Supporting STEM education is really important to our organisation because supporting thriving communities in the areas in which we operate is one of the key pillars of our sustainable mining plan. So I meet with Anthony on a regular basis and he provides the curriculum for us to look through together and to discover any opportunities where we might be able to offer hands-on practical experience for the students within the context of mining and also opportunities outside of mining. We're also invested in our local schools and young people because we want to demonstrate that they have the opportunity to move into STEM-based fields and careers within the local area and that they don't have to travel away to do that, so also building a sense of community.
We used the VR goggles to go and check out the problems in the power station so we could be in a safe environment and not be in danger. It was amazing because we actually got to go and use the VR goggles, and that was the first time that I ever used them, and it was actually really cool because it looked like we were actually in the power station, but we weren't. So we were very safe away from all the problems that were there, and it was really fun trying to fix them using the VR goggles.
Well, we coded the drones to do different movements, like a full turn and then a half turn, and then move backwards and forwards and then land on a platform. And we did this so then we could learn how to use drones to keep an eye on the pipelines for any leaks. Then we made a 3D plan that could help strengthen the pipelines and reduce cracks and leaks.
So for the parent community here, I think the STEM learning is absolutely essential. But more than that, it's the kids are also bringing it home and influencing the parents on the way of the future and opening those doors to different ways of thinking, because of what they're learning is not what we learn, and it's opening those conversations, which is just essential as we go into the next stage. I think core to the skills that we want our kids to have is problem solving. We want them to be creative thinkers, and we want them to analyse not just data but analyse what's around them and reform it and repurpose it. I think those core skills that a lot of us as adults, we haven't learnt that until we've got into different roles in our career. Our kids are learning that as a foundational skill, and it's very exciting that they're going to have that opportunity that we didn't have.
How are you investing your school's advancing STEM funds to engage your learners? How are you building teacher capability across your school to transform STEM learning? How are you noticing what's changing and measuring impact? And what are the next steps in your school to ensure that improved student outcomes in STEM are sustainable?
School improvement takes time, and at Moranbah State School we're in it for the long haul. The success we've seen in our teachers and the growth and independence we've seen in our students really motivates us to continue. Our plan is essential, and we check in regularly to keep us on track. At Moranbah State School, our partnerships have been so important to our success. Consider your community, consider your context. Maybe it's a farm in your area, the mine down the road, or just a business in town. You just have to start the conversation somewhere.